So firstly, I'll present my screen. Is it visible now?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, respected sir and my talented buddies. So I had presented on the rover of Afra Ben, which is the part of Elizabethan Restoration period. The points which I have covered is Afra Ben is a restoration poet. We can see the woman's status with the context of Rover, struggle for status in 21st century, merging views of literature and mankind, and Afra Ben versus Thomas Hardy, and art of shaping love. We can see that in the Restoration period, Afraben has gone through many things. Afraben was the first English writer, translator, and fiction writer to living her own writing, and she broke cultural barriers and served as a literary role model for later generation and author women. We can see that in the play Rover, the lady character has always a gender role. We can see the casuality of masculinity and restoration period, and we can also find that the women are protesting against their status. So here I had presented the place of women in the society, which the frame of 17th century has a great influence over the mind of Ben, as we see that the struggle of women is prolonged from the early century to till now. With this, any question arises that what is the status of women in our society? The same thing is happening in the rover that all female characters has to struggle for their place and own desire. We can compare this with the situation of 17th century and 21st century. The another one is struggle for status in 21st century. We can know that in restoration periods, women are not given the same status which they deserve. But in 21st century also, we can see that women are protesting against this. Now, the question arises that what is the conclusion or also say the way forward for this. Even in 21st century, the position of women is the same as it was in ancient times. In the last week of this year, in 2019, the Niti Aayog released the Sustainable Development Report, and where we can find that the status of women has not improved. So it is a bad thing in our 21st century that we are working on technologies and we are making many progresses, but still there is some concern over the women progress and their status. A very amazing and wonderful quote, which is by Swami Vivekanand, and it is impossible to think about the welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. It is impossible for a bird to fly on only a wing. It is by Swami Vivekanand. The another one is the merging views of literature and mankind. As we all know that the one thing which is very important to live our life is the source of Bhagavad Gita. We can see that in Rover also, all the characters are misleading each other by making each and everything not possible and commuting all the false verses which we can. So here, if we want to conclude that thing, the literature, we can see that literature, we can imagine literature all over the sky, and the merging views which can also be related to this book. So some glimpse of this literature. Bhagavad Gita is a true picture of human creation rather than a book with a new message for every age and new meaning for every civilization. Now, this is a famous man, a legendary man, Aldous Huxley, says that the English writer from Gita, the most systematic statement of spiritual evolution of endowing value to mankind, he also felt Gita is one of the most clear and most comprehensible summaries of personal philosophy which can not only to human but all humanity. Bhagavad Gita's and the book's thoughts are not only just concerned to India, but it is for whole the world, for whole humanity. The another one is Lord Warren Hastings, who was the first Governor General of British India, and he wrote, "I hesitate not to pronounce the Gita a performance of great originality or sublimity and reasoning the distinction almost a single exception amongst all the known religions of mankind. The another one is importance in Hindu faith. The Bhagavad Gita influenced many thinkers. We can see that Bhagavad Gita is influencing many peoples, which are legendary peoples who had done many important, precious things in their lives, which includes Mahatma Gandhi, Aldous Huxley, Henry David Thoreau, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Carl Jung, and many more. Among others, the main source of doctrine of Karma Yoga is its present in its Bhagavad Gita. The another one is the comparison between Afra Ben and Thomas Hardy. We can see that in Rover also have many characters, and in Far From the Madding Crowd also have many characters. We can see that there are similarities because beyond having all these characters, the ending is happy ending. We can see that everyone is wearing masks. There is all love triangle and all those things. Misleading things are also happening in the movie, but we can see that both the plays have simple conflict and simple ending. We can pretend the ending while it's presenting. Now, the common ideologies and Ben and Hardy, which both share. So, Afra Ben in his novel talks about the certainty of women as a whole and also in the society. In The Rover, she tries to make the characters to revolve around with the thirst of love and the same time not getting the divorcing respect from all men as well. In most of her works, she tries to keep the characters little bit witty and the plot, which means little bit witty, turns up to the obvious ending and matches in the estimated. Now, same thing happens in the Thomas Hardy's novel, and Thomas Hardy has a pessimist view of life and love at large. He wrote novels which has a certain identifications. Like we can say that the Thomas Hardy has so many character in his novel, so people has also get a name of the novel of characters like, and it has always a class conflict in his novels also compared to Ben's novel. It has many characters revolving around love and desire of love. In this particular novel, he showed the love triangle between the characters, and in Ben's novel also. We can see that the intention of Hardy for making his protagonist suffer, but at last there is happy ending, and so is Afra Ben's. The another one is the art of shaping love. Here are the characters of the Rover and Far From the Madding Crowd. We can see that the Rover's character is Wilmore, Belleville, Blunt. These are the male characters. And beyond them, Helena, Florida, Lucetta, Bianca are also the same. The first column is of the love, and the second is of the parental whole. And in Far From the Madding Crowd also, we can see that there is Gabriel Oak, Bathsheba, Sergeant Troy, Baldwood, Fanny. There is a love triangle between all of them, but not getting the right thing at the right time. So this was my presentation. Thank you. Shall I stop sharing my screen?
Yes, yes. Stop sharing your screen here. Yeah, it was well prepared slides. Yes, questions.